Thank you. All right. Hello, guys. I'm guessing this was a little surprise for you guys. I didn't know it was supposed to be a surprise, but yeah, it's me, the guy from TV. I'm going to give you a quick introduction about like who I am and stuff, my story and things like that as well, because you guys might have seen me on TV. You probably see me on your TikTok For You pages more than that, though, right? Like, hands up if you guys watch The Apprentice. Okay, hands up if I've come up on your For You page. It's a lot of you guys. It is a lot of you. It's the person on TV, all right? But I'm going to give you guys like a proper overview in terms of who I am and things like that as well. Because yeah, whether you know me on TV or TikTok or wherever else, there are slight differences to who I am. But I want to first of all to do some assumptions, okay? So before you guys get into any of this, I want you guys to like judge me basically, okay? Grew up with or without wealth? I want you guys to put your hands up if you think that I grew up, first of all, with wealth. Hands up. Okay, a few of you guys. Hands up if you thought I grew up without wealth. A lot of you guys, okay. All right, party person or an indoors type of guy? Hands up if you think I'm a party person. Okay, interesting. Hands up if you think I'm an indoors type of guy. Okay. Right, private school or state school then? So private school, hands up. State school, hands up. Okay? And just because I find this one quite interesting, humble or arrogant as well. Okay, so hands up if you think I'm a humble person. Here we go. Hands up if you think I'm an arrogant person. Okay, a lot more of you guys. It's always interesting that one. Okay. So, I'm going to give you guys a rundown in terms of who I am, where I'm from, and what I do as well, okay? But also a little bit of my story, because you're going to see the social media side of me as well, okay? There is the social media side. I know some of you guys will follow me and things like that as well. And you do have all of these things that people call me as well. The car guy, the investor guy, the verified guy now is what people call me, and all that sort of stuff as well, okay? But the real me. And I'm going to give you guys a little rundown in terms of where I am and where I came from. So, there's a couple of pictures of me like growing up or wherever else. Now my employee put this whole presentation together. I have no idea where they got the pictures from. Like, thank God for pupils. I look awful in some of these pictures. Like, they're really, really bad. But this was my childhood. I grew up in a council house. So there was about 5 of us or so. No, 6 of us. There's 4 of us siblings. And my mum and my dad as well. We lived in a house like this, 3 bedrooms. That's where we grew up. I actually grew up in a council house. Now, a lot of people oftentimes think that I come from a wealthy background and see all the stuff that I've got today and assume that straight away. But for me, that's where I grew up, okay? Council house kid, that's where I was at. I went to martial arts. Now, when I was younger, a lot of stuff happened in my childhood, okay? I won't go into it today, but a lot of stuff happened where there was a lot of like traumatic stuff. Now, everyone's got their story, by the way. You guys in here today, you have your own story, whether it's mental health, something else, problems at home, whatever it may be. Sometimes it's just racism, like straight up racism or whatever else. Everyone has their escape though. And for me, it was martial arts. So that's what I ended up going to as my escape when I was younger. Then I went for education. So I graduated, I went to school, university, college, university as well, and I did my normal thing. Okay, as most of you guys do. Because hands up if you guys are thinking about university afterwards. Okay. So it's a fair few of you guys. Now, outside of education, this is one of the key things I want you guys to take away from today. Who's doing like business in here at the moment? Hands up if you guys are doing business. A fair few of you guys. Okay, cool. Now in this room, all of you guys are going to be sat around here, and only a few of you guys are going to be millionaires in the future. Which is sad to say, but it might be one of you guys. But you're going to have to keep one thing in mind. You have to do something different. If you guys are sat in this room right now and you're all going to the same business class, the same maths class, same biology class, you're going to be the same as everyone else. You have to do something slightly different, and that's what I did when I was at university and college. You know, I remember I was this 17-year-old in college, and me and my friends, right, so me and my 2 friends, we were like so out of our heads. We were there like, we're going to build the biggest app in the world. We're going to do this, we're going to take it, we're going to be multi-millionaires. So us as 3 17-year-olds walking into this multi-million-pound company in Winchester, and we're there like, we've got the best idea in the world. We're going to be an absolute success. We were out of our heads. We were never going to secure the investment, no matter what. But that was so crucial for me, because then I knew that I could just walk into a place full of these millionaires. I could sit down, I could pitch a product to them. It didn't work. We failed at that one, but it taught me those lessons. Now, if you guys are here today, what you do outside of education is so, so important. So I was doing things like these speaking gigs and all sorts, and I was getting involved in business societies and making a difference, making myself unique, which is what you guys need to try and do as well. Again, this is a bit ironic as well. when I was back in university, I hosted the Student Apprentice, which is kind of crazy. So I hosted it, I set it up from scratch. £500 to the winner as well. That girl in the middle, she won it there, £500. I was the host of all of it. I was the Lord Sugar of it. Fast forward a couple of years and get fired by Lord Sugar. There we go. That's how it turns out. Okay, now, imagine this. Council house kid, going nowhere fast. All of a sudden, needs help through martial arts, things like that as well. Goes to college, great. Trying to do different businesses, amazing. Goes to university, does a normal thing, creates a student apprentice, all this cool stuff. I land my first job. It's incredible. Have you guys heard of PwC, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah? For those of you guys that haven't, biggest accounting company in the UK, or in the world, I think it is at the moment. Okay? They are top tier. So I start my first job over there. Also the first time I got fired. So I ended up starting it to get fired pretty quickly. So, what ended up happening was that you have to do 15 exams. And all of a sudden, I decided to put all my hopes into it. And I was there like, do you know what, this is going to be the best thing ever. Council house kid, starting at the best accounting company in the world. All of a sudden, I'm fired. And it's crazy like that. Life will take you on crazy journeys. But then that's when I started my martial arts club. And so that's when I started it. And I decided to go back to what I was passionate about. So going full circle, when I was younger, I was in martial arts as my escape. And I wanted to bring that to other people now. So all of a sudden, I decided to create a martial arts club. And it was way, way more simple than you think. So I want to ask you guys this first of all. It's a bit of a subjective question, but if you guys were to start a business, roughly how much money do you think it takes on average to start a business? What would you guys say? Throw out some numbers to me. Okay, one at a time maybe then. Someone put their hand up, give me a figure. Yeah. £1,000? Yep. 10,000? 500. Okay, cool. Right, so basically, I started this business for £200. That was literally it. Fast forward, it's gone multi-six figures. Literally £200 is what I spent into Facebook, and that was it. Spend £200, it was making £1,000 a month. Now, you don't have to go to college to figure out what to do next, right? You put in more money into it, you get more money out of it. It's as simple as that. It started to do really, really well. But the passion of all of it, what I wanted to do was change lives. So for me, going back to when I was younger, it was about having, about my life being changed. I wanted to do the same thing for other people. And that, by the way, is my little niece over there. She's actually in Birmingham as well. I've got family in Birmingham, so she's actually around here somewhere. Probably still in school at the moment, but that's my little niece over there. So we decided to run this whole club, and we were there to change lives. That was the main focus of it. The growth happened. So like I said, £200 made £1,000 a month. And if you put in £1,000, you make it £5,000 a month. And it just happens naturally like that. And that's per month, by the way. This is all recurring revenue, so it's pretty crazy. Once you've got a formula, you can work with it. Now, it was insane because all of a sudden, it started to grow massively, but then I started to franchise it out. Now, keep in mind, by the way, this is me as the council house kid, right? I was literally in a council house way before this, and all of a sudden changing my life. Like, it was insane. Like, that happened to me, of all people. It was crazy like that. But here's the most important thing for you guys, and I want you guys to remember this one today as well, okay? In life, you have to be the person that goes and gets things, all right? There's going to be money and opportunities all over the place, and you're going to have to do it. So let's put it to the test, right? If you guys want a tenner, come take it. Aisha, yeah? Okay, Aisha, nice to meet you first of all. And Aisha is a go-getter, okay? Now, very, very important lesson I want all of you guys to remember. There's going to be opportunities like that in life. There's going to be money for the taking no matter what, okay? It will literally be there for grabs every single time. You guys are going to be sat there thinking, oh, I would have done it, but I'm too far away. No. I would have done it, but I couldn't be bothered today. I would have done it if it was another time. Excuses are going to be the bane of your life. That's the reality of it. Now, I did that once before, and then one kid right at the back told everyone to stop, and he walked all the way to the money and went back, okay? There's no excuses in life like that. There's going to be money all over the place. You have to be the one to go and grab it, okay? Keep that in mind, guys, okay? So many times in life, all of my friends, by the way, who are from back in like school, college, university, all of them come up with all these excuses as to why they didn't do martial arts as a business. Even the people who I trained with, who were black belts, like while I was growing up, They had so many excuses, but reality is it's not hard. You get up, you go do it. That's how you make your changes. Reality is everyone is a dreamer. I can guarantee you guys, like probably 90% of you guys sat in here right now have got a business idea in mind. You're like, do you know what? I could do this business, this business, this business. Are you always going to be a dreamer or are you going to be a doer? That's the difference between winning and failing. Okay, so big growth tends to happen. I was a go-getter. I was literally just getting up out of my bed each morning, going and chasing all these dreams. I remember one time I literally sold a franchise. I drove all the way to Winchester, picked up £5,000 of cash, drove back. It was insane. Like, I didn't do much for it, but I sold a franchise like that. And I remember that first drive back from my first sale of a franchise, it was insane like that. Okay? If you guys, again, do that same sort of thing, just keep it in mind. You know, you want to be a go-getter no matter what. The big growth started happening when I was 22. I bought that. Do not get one. It is the most stupidest investment like you can imagine. It's typical brown boy car though as well, isn't it? Right? Typical white BMW. I had the whole skin fade and all sorts back then as well. Like, it was, yeah, I was just like the brown boy stereotype back then as well. I feel some judgment right now. You still are. Okay, playing it smart. So hands up if you guys in business again. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, one of the things that you won't get taught in business classes, or you may get taught here and there, is that you need to play it smart. You need to make sure that if you guys are creating a business and you guys are trying to do something, that you end up doing only the top level things. There's things like £10 tasks, £100 tasks, and £1,000 tasks. Have any of you guys ever heard of that before? Yeah. Yeah, some of you guys have. Okay. Your £10 task is very, very basic. Anyone can do it. Now, if you're running a business, if you're doing the £10 task, not so good for you. You should be doing the stuff which is like the £1,000 task. Only you can do it. So you need to play it smart. And that's what I started to do as well. So for everything that I was doing, I didn't want to do the teaching side of things either. I offloaded all of that. So all of a sudden, my life became a case where I was teaching, well, I was like working for about 2 or 3 hours a week, and all the income was still coming in. I had all the free time in the world. All right? And playing it smart is just so, so important as well. And keep it in mind, by the way, I'm still this council house kid. Like throughout all of this happening as well, I'm still that kid from a council house who decided to just get up and chase it, and all of a sudden these things are happening here as well. I still kept it in mind, inspiring others though. That was the main thing for me, and that always will be as well. Even today, with everything that I do, even on like TikTok and stuff that you guys see, all the crazy stuff that goes on, I still got it in mind that I want to be inspiring others. You know, other people watching, other people who maybe want to start a business. For me, that's what it's about. When you stick true to yourself, it makes a big difference. I want to make it very clear as well. Sometimes you will have people who stand up on stage and be like, yeah, I came from this, and now I'm a multi-millionaire, and blah, 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 and they talk about all these crazy things. But there is the bumpy ride. I want you guys to know that as well. Hey, even for me, I had the bumpy ride as well. So for example, I had like leave, someone tried to like take over some of the business, and all these crazy things that do happen. So if you ever guys like do have these inspirational speakers come in, just keep that in mind as well. It's never rosy like that. Okay, a lot of times it will be a success story, but there are those bumps along the way. Using my skills. Now, going back to earlier on, outside of education, doing things like the talks and all sorts, that helps so much. I cannot stress it enough. If there's one thing you guys do take away from today, and I've said that a couple of times, but honestly, try and figure out what you're about to do outside of education. You want to be different to everyone else. You want to be the one that stands out, you're going to have to do something else. And it helped. You know, when all of a sudden I'm like trying to negotiate and sell my franchises, it's so easy for me because I've done it before back in college and university. When I'm there trying to do tasks on the Apprentice, for example, as well. Again, you know, I've done half of it already. The more you guys do now, the more it's going to pay off later on. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, and then the success happened, basically. So, you know, it all started to come together, all as one. All of a sudden, I was working a couple of hours a week, I was traveling the world, and I was just kind of living that sort of life, right? Then it's like, what's the next thing after that? And we've got the show. So again, using it as a platform to inspire people, that's the main thing. Okay. So, before we get into the question, top 3 pieces of advice for you guys. Number 1, upgrade your network. Have you guys heard of that thing of the 5 people around you? Take the average and that's you? Okay, your 5 people that you guys spend most of your time with, if you take the average of them, that's going to be you. Okay? So if you're, put it in simple terms, right? If you're hanging around with people who are getting like scores of level 3 or whatever in life, you're going to be an average of level 3. If you're hanging around with people who are level 10, you're going to be level 10. Simple as that. Now let's say, for example, you've got level 3s all around you. You drop one of them, and you've got level 100 now. Your average is all of a sudden going to increase. Okay? Now think about that in terms of your friends and who you're spending your time with right now. Because when I started to upgrade my network, it was insane. Like, I was hanging around with these millionaires. So during university, I was networking, got in touch with them, and I was asking them for advice. They were speaking to me. It changes your mindset. So your friends, there's nothing wrong with it, by the way. If your friends are out partying and doing all this crazy stuff, the average of that is going to be you. If your friends are the type to go out and try all these different things, work on businesses and all sorts, again, the average is going to be you. So if you can upgrade your network, it's such a key thing, and I would really, really advise that. The second one, never quit. I had so many points in my life where I could have quit, right? Going back to that council house kid. If I was in that house, gave up on life, like half of my friends, by the way, because some of them were from council houses as well, never would have had anything that I would have done today. Never would have been on the show. Never would have, had that moment where I was just working a couple of hours a week, traveling the world. Never give up no matter what. It may seem tough at the time, but you can push through that. And then remind yourself constantly as well, why are you doing it? Keep that passion about you guys as well. There's going to be like a few of you guys who will be successful in this room. I can guarantee you that. But keep true to who you are. That's always the main thing that I want to preach to everyone, every single time. We've had even people on the show, for example, they go out and all of a sudden they're getting success, but they start to change as people. Yeah. They lose who they're about, and that should never be the case. Always stay true to who you are.
We do actually have a martial artist in Oliver, do you want to come up? We do have a martial artist in...
Can you do any kicks? Can you do some kicks? Yeah. What's your best kick? Okay, do a jump kick. Okay, just a normal basic, right? I always do my kicks in like suits or jeans or something like that. Never like comfortable clothing. But let's do it. We'll like this. We'll face that way just in case I want to kick with the gun. Right? Okay, bring it back there. When you do, jump at the moment and kick using your front. Start here, jump.